Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyeni, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 254 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out, and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mod. Starting us off, we have a very simple weapon mod called the Headsplitter. Now the mod page reads that this mod adds locational damage for all bows and crossbows in order to enhance gameplay. Headshots now do extra damage, which is scaled to your level and marksman skill, and enemies with full helmets take 0.5 times extra damage, while enemies without helmets will take ×2 extra damage. Body shots will do normal damage, and leg shots will stagger enemies and will occasionally make them fall over too. This Headsplitter bow can be crafted at the Skyforge, and it can decapitate enemies if the killing blow is landed with a headshot, which I think is incredibly badass. There's also 2 new craftable arrow types that are included. You have Headhunter arrows and bolts, which allows you to split heads without using the Headsplitter bow, and you can also pick up bloody skulls after decapitating enemies, which is incredibly gruesome. And then you have Phantom arrows, which shoot through walls and allow your arrows to connect without bouncing off of invisible barriers, which I found to be extremely useful. You can also loot and wear Dragger helmets, and basic skeletons will drop skull helmets if decapitated. Now, I've always wanted something like this in Skyrim, because how many times have you been fighting a bunch of bandits and you just shoot them in the head a bunch of times, and by the time they finally die, they have like 6 arrows sticking out of their skull. This makes it so that either 1 or 2 headshots will completely destroy them, and most of the time if you land the killing blow, it'll rip their head off, which, like I said before, is incredibly gruesome and badass. And the fact that they also made it so you can craft the Headhunter arrows, which allows you to use any other bow that you'd like. Say you get a better bow such as Daedric, you can use these Headhunter arrows, which will also do the same effect, and make it so that, you know, whether you hit them in the head, body, leg shot, anything, it'll be completely different. It won't just all be the same amount of damage. And like I said, with the Phantom arrows, you can now shoot through walls, which is incredibly awesome. I really like that aspect of bringing those type of arrow types into the game. You know, with the Headsplitter bow also having its own sight, it has like a little thing that's different than all the other bows in the game, where you have like a little crosshair that's actually lined up with where you're aiming. I think that's also very cool. There's so many things that have been added into this mod to really improve archers, and I really like that about this mod. So that's definitely why it's featured here at a number 5 spot. So I strongly recommend downloading the Headsplitter mod and giving it a try for yourself. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a mod that was suggested by a lot of you guys to cover on this channel, and this is the EAD, or Every Attack Different mod, which is an animation pack which replaces all one-handed and two-handed attack animations, and in total there's 15 new attacks that you can do. This is the pack that replaces every single one, and the main difference between this and all other animation mods is this uses different animations for every single swing, so you'll never see the same one back to back. Now the mod page reads that some of you may or may not know, but the way that melee attacks work in Skyrim is basically you have two different swings, which composes of a one or two-handed attack right, which means the first swing while standing still, as well as a one or two-handed attack left, which is just the second swing while standing still. There's also other variants based on the direction you're moving, but there really is only two swing animations for one-handed weapons, and two as well for two-handed weapons. So you'll get to see the same two boring animations every time you press attack. This is also not counting power attacks, which is their own separate thing, but this pack changes these two into a total of 10, 15 if we do count the power attacks, in order to give as much variety as possible. So basically you'll get two different swings while standing still, two different swings while running or walking forward, two swings while running or walking backwards, to the right, to the left, as well as 5 new power attacks based on the direction too. So in total there's 15 new animations to make combat a bit more enjoyable. And you can definitely see this as I'm going through and clearing some bandit camps and attacking all these enemies here. If I'm running and, pushing forward and doing a power attack forward, my character will jump forward with a giant stab swing. But if I'm moving backward, he'll kind of do a more defense type of swing. To the left, he jumps up in the air and does a spin move. And to the right, he kind of just swings his whole body into it and uses the momentum in the sword. So there's so many different animations included in this pack, and it just makes combat all more enjoyable. And that's definitely why this mod's featured here to number 4 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the EAD Every Attack Different mod if you don't necessarily have an animation mod yet. This is definitely the one I'd recommend checking out, so go download it and show off your new amazing moves in your next battle. Coming in at the number 3 spot this week, we have a brand new weapon mod called Beyond Skyrim Morrowind, the Bonemold Weapons Pack. And the mod page reads that Morrowind celebrates its 20th anniversary this year, which is absolutely insane. 20 years of Morrowind, I just can't seem to wrap my head around that. But in honor of this occasion, we at Beyond Skyrim Morrowind have decided to share a special treat, our complete Bonemold weapon set. And to get your hands on these new items, simply travel to the Trader's Post in Skyrim and look for an unfortunate mishap on the road, which I'm showing you right here. The features of this mod include a lore-friendly acquisition method of getting these weapons, and these weapons include two-handed weapons, which is a greatsword, great axe, warhammer, and club, as well as one-handed weapons, being a sword, dagger, mace, and war axe. You also have 3 new shield variations and a bow, as well as arrows that respawn. These new weapons look incredible, and if you use it with the Every Attack Different mod, which we covered in our number 4 spot, you'll have a bunch of different ways to swing them as well. But besides that, all of these weapons are extremely powerful to use in combat, and I also like the fact that inside of the chest where they have the one-handed weapons, they give you 2 of each, that being the sword, dagger, mace, and war axe. So if you are a dual wield build, or maybe you just want to mix and match the different weapons, you can definitely do that. So if you're looking for some new weapons to try out in Skyrim, or maybe you're looking to take a trip over to Solstheim in your next playthrough, or maybe in your current playthrough, then I'd strongly recommend bringing this arsenal with you, which is the Beyond Skyrim Morrowind Bonemold Weapons Pack, and using these badass new weapons for yourself. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have an incredible new mod that completely expands how you learn spells in the college, and this is the College Curriculum mod. The mod page reads that this adds an immersive quest that allows the player to learn spells at the College of Winterhold, and it also includes 5 new powerful spells that are available once you complete the various lessons from the different trainers and professors at the college. A brief overview of this mod is College Curriculum gives players an immersive way to learn all of the magic in Skyrim, and in some of their early playthroughs as a mage, they always found it strange that the College of Winterhold had a magic lesson from Tolfdir in the beginning of the college's main quest, but then never again. Instead, you're just given the title of Archmage after you complete all the college's dirty work, and then you're forced to buy spells to learn them, which doesn't really give the same feeling as training and leveling up to become a powerful mage. So this mod aims to add an alternative for those who would prefer a more immersive way of gaining power in the arcane arts, and with this mod you can now speak with Feralda, Finnis, and Colette to learn Destruction, Conjuration, and Restoration magic respectfully. Once you've finished enough lessons, you can unlock a final lesson from each trainer, where you can learn powerful and unique spells as well. Now, how to actually start getting these lessons is first you'll have to have access to the College of Winterhold, of course, and then the quest should just begin from there. The School of Destruction is slightly different from the others and allows you to learn all 3 elemental classes of destruction, but only one at a time. When you complete your lessons for any of the elemental classes, the quest will be completed and your journal will show that you've mastered whichever element you've chosen. However, returning to the college will restart the quest, allowing the player to learn all the other elemental classes from Feralda. When all of the other lessons have been learned, the quest will no longer restart and you'll be a master of all the elements, these being shock, fire, and frost. When it comes to buffs and leveling, completing lessons will reward the player by leveling up whatever school of magic they're learning. So if you finish a lesson of destruction from Feralda, your destruction skill will increase 1 level upon speaking with her. When you finish the final lesson from a trainer, you'll also be rewarded with a small buff to add credibility to the mastery you've gained over your respective school of magic. For destruction, you have Frost Mastery, which is a 30% resistance of frost. When you do the fire one, you have a Fire Mastery, which gives the same effect but for fire, as well as shock whenever you complete that one. For conjuration, you get the Conjuration Mastery perk, which is 100 plus magicka. Restoration, you get plus 100 health whenever you complete that lesson, which is incredibly useful. Alteration, you get the Alteration Mastery perk, which is 15% resistance to magic. And illusion, you get plus 15 persuasion when you complete that spell. Now, I think that this mod is going to stay in my load order because I absolutely love everything that this mod brings into Skyrim, and it makes the College of Winterhold something that I wish it would have been from the get-go. You know, at first, in most of my playthroughs, in my opinion, whenever I go to the college for the first time, I do like maybe 1 or 2 quests, and then I kind of get bored because they're just kind of sending you on fetch quests, and you're kind of just exploring ruins instead of actually learning in a college. It doesn't really feel like a complete college experience, but with this mod, there's so much more to do in the college because you can focus on either one thing or have a bunch active like I did in this showcase here. So I truly feel that this mod makes the College of Winterhold how it should have been on release, and it actually makes it an interesting college that gives you so much to do and explore and makes it feel like a real college now. And it does all of this within 1.51 megabytes, which I think is absolutely incredible. And that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 2 spot this week. So if you want to become a true mage in Skyrim, I would strongly recommend downloading the college curriculum mod and learning all of these brand new spells for yourself. Coming in at the number 1 spot this week, we have an absolutely groundbreaking mod that's going to completely change the way that we interact with objects in Skyrim. This is Interact, Build, and Decorate, which is a mod that is a catch-all mod that they've slowly been developing for years, consistently adding more and more systems that allow you to interact with and make your mark on Skyrim's world. Despite all of the systems, this mod is well contained with only a few changes to some of the vendors' inventories, as well as some building materials. So it should be compatible with just about everything, which is exactly what I did here. I installed this on our 150 modded load order and didn't have any issues, crashes, or any hiccups at all. It worked perfectly. This mod has no convoluted hotkeys to use, does not require SKSE, and can be used with controllers too. And the main feature of this mod is a new system to replace the vanilla grab and flail items wildly decorating system. After using the interact power, which can be obtained by heading to a lumber mill to find a woodworking station, you can then craft the decorating tips, which teaches an interact lesser power, and everything this mod adds can be toggled on and off by using this power. Once you use the interact power, you should see now interacting in the top left corner of your screen. Now whenever you activate or drop various objects, you'll get new options on how to interact with it. And if you select furniture, weapons, armor, or other items, you'll have an option to adjust them, and selecting this gives you the option to move either upright or with its current orientation. You can rotate it or nudge. If you've watched some of my videos in the past or some of my load orders, you'll know that I use a mod called Placeable Statics, which is basically a lower tier version of what this mod can do. This mod adds everything that Placeable Statics can do, but even more. And it reminds me a lot about Fallout settlement building and actually makes the item float in real time in front of you, so you know exactly where you're placing the item in question. And you can physically see all of this going on in my little showcase here where I'm building a small little house. I know it's a very bad house, but this is just a tiny showcase of just some of the things that you can do. But I do plan on making a whole video on this in the future because I really want to expand on this, because there was another mod in the past called Anna's Interior Editor, as well as the Placeable Statics mod that I used in conjunction with one another to build a Heartwood mill of my own. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave it linked in the description, but I used a very convoluted mod that was very difficult and took me hours upon hours to create, and I made my own city out of it. And I feel as though now it's way easier to do this because you can now craft all of these items that you could possibly want at forges, workbenches, and all sorts of different types of crafting stations. And you can build walls, roofs, any type of item that is physically in Skyrim that you can see can now be crafted and used to your heart's content. And you can place it wherever you'd like I I said, it's very similar to the Fallout settlement building system where you can see where you're about to place the item, and then if you want to drop the item, all you have to do is crouch. So you can really get the lining up of different items together. You can place a bunch of walls together and make your own house, or you could just make a bunch of different jumps to get up to a roof. You know, there's so much that you can do with this mod, and it's not just interacting. You can also build furniture, as well as cabin building, camp making, trophy making. The possibilities are absolutely endless with this mod in terms of decorating, building your own items, and just interacting with the items that you can see in Skyrim, which I guess that's what the name of the mod is: interact, build, and decorate, which is what this mod masters in. There's so much content here and so many things that you can do and so much to talk about that I can't really fit this all into one small showcase here. So I do want to make another video in the future of me just covering this mod. So if that's something you'd like to see, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, as well as leave a like on the video, because I really love this mod. I love decorating in Skyrim, and I always go in with the house mods, and you know, I cover house mods on this channel a lot, so now we can build our own houses and actually display items and make it to our heart's content, which I think is absolutely incredible. And that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our #1 spot this week, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it and creating your dream house for yourself. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.